We've always had room in our hearts for film and TV, not just on Netflix, but tape and disc and theaters. Also, God forbid that they take it all away and leave us nothing to broadcast to loyal listeners. We'll binge watch every single movie, so you don't have to. What else are we here for? Coming to you every week. Listen to us while you're busy. Luckily, we forgot to grow up.
Hey everybody, it's Craig.
Hey, it's Scott.
And there's no Andrew this week. It feels so empty.
Yeah, I was trying to think, should I do a little voice impression?
It's
And I'm like,
Andrew.
that might be insulting. Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to episode number 77 of the Forgot to Grow Up podcast. Due to Apple being this wonderful company that likes to force things on you. Sounds like another tech giant that likes to force things on you. Microsoft. Andrew's computer is updating, and so we're going to be missing him for a little bit, at least in this episode, if not the entire thing. But that fortunately ties really well into our subject for this week, because this is the week where Apple announced their new streaming service, Apple TV Plus. So we'll talk about that and some market saturation stuff. This is the week the Forgot to Grow Up podcast decided to grow up. And we'll talk about some Star Wars rumors, and we'll touch on what's coming to Netflix Canada this next month. April, yeah. Well, we're only going to talk about Netflix Canada because that's all we care
That's all
about.
that applies to us. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll talk about what we watched this week. It's going to be great. So, Apple TV Plus. I only know about this, and it was actually overshadowed by their credit card announcement that came out on the same day. In my knowledge.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking in your streams. Yeah,
I
could see how that
heard
might happen.
about their credit card, and they were like, "Oh yeah," and it was part of the announcement where they announced Apple TV Plus, and I was like, "Excuse me, another streaming service?"
Yeah, they've been talking about this for a little while now. They've been kind of starting to build up a few shows, trying a few things. You can actually watch a couple of their pretty much their dips into it on Apple Music right now, I believe, is where you can find those things, which they tried a few different random shows. I think that's where Carpool Karaoke lived at some point, but I'm not sure about that.
I thought that was just a YouTube segment. I don't know anything.
I think they bought it from the company that was posting it to YouTube. Yeah, don't quote me on that one though. But yeah, they announced the Apple TV Plus, which has two different features to it. So there's the streaming service side of it, which is again just a new Netflix competitor.
Yep.
They announced some series. One involves Jason Momoa, another's got something to do with Oprah, and there were some others which I can't remember now. Overall, I was not, I don't care about the streaming service whatsoever, to be honest.
No, but they're kind of smart in the way that they're going about it, because it's not a additional, I'm sure it's an additional thing you can get, but they're introducing it as an upgrade, as a software update to their already existing platforms. So your Apple TV set-top box, and then your Apple products. And
yeah, so they're updating an app on it, actually. That's the weird thing.
Exactly.
So there's Apple TV, which is a physical box.
Yeah, which has to have the software upgrade for the Plus. But then you've got the apps that are on the phone.
Yeah, my phone has tablet. This. It's literally just called TV.
Yep, and you don't have a choice because you've got an iPhone.
Yeah, so. Well, I can delete it. They have given us that option finally, but it is a preload. It preloaded, but
I would be willing to bet that it will come back. If you deleted it, when they push their software update, it will.
It'll come back.
It'll push it back in.
But the next iOS, definitely. I left it, but I haven't used the way it is right now, because it does kind of what the next level's supposed to do, which is it aggregates your subscriptions, right? So I've got a bunch of mine already on my phone because I cast it to my TV. So I can use that to just have it all in one place. Right now, it doesn't work the best because I think it takes you to other apps, and the scrolling through it isn't the best, or the browsing, I should say, isn't the best. But they're supposed to be upgrading that so that you can, add more subscriptions via that, which intrigued me a little bit. But at the same time, I'm like, I can't use that app because I don't have Apple TV.
Yeah.
That's the main problem.
That'd be
with
like
it,
having
yeah.
your Apple TV box, but on your phone. Because basically, what the Apple TV box is just a way to access your accounts. So you've got your TSN and your Sportsnet and your baseball, MLB.TV, which Andrew would be excited about, but he's not on the podcast.
Yeah, I like how
week.
you listed all sports things. I definitely have none of those
NHL
subscriptions.
Game Center, Netflix, and then YouTube, and then on top of that you can add your. Well, I think CTV's got an app for it too. I don't know about Crave.
CTV does have an app.
Amazon does.
Crave is on. I believe is on Apple TV.
Amazon.
I don't have an Apple TV. So.
Amazon for sure, and then on top of all that, they've got their Apple Music and their movies and TV shows that you can rent
iTunes
from them. Yeah, basically the iTunes equivalent. They don't call it that, but
yeah, no, it's changed to like just movies and TV.
Yeah,
I believe it's just the name of the app now,
which is super convenient.
Yeah, well, it is and isn't, because it's kind of like, well, what are you watching it on? It's like my Apple movies. It's like, well, it's still iTunes. I refer to everything of Apple's as iTunes still, just because it used to all be on iTunes, and now they've decided to switch it all up.
iTunes if you've got it on your computer, but on your Apple TV set-top box, it's not. Which is a funny thing to call something that, like, you can't even. You couldn't put that on your TV if you wanted to. Like they're not huge, but they're not small either. They're probably like 4 inches by 4 inches as like a
about that.
Not quite a cube, but like whose TV has a spot to put stuff onto anymore? But
yeah, no, I know what you mean. Like the flat. I had that slight problem actually with the Google Chromecast I have. Yeah, because it's a dongle. Well, not a dongle. What's the word?
Dongle.
Dongle, thank you. Yeah. So it's supposed to, I guess, hang, but it also it's so heavy that it kind of pulls itself out of the plug sometimes. Yeah. So I'm like, this doesn't seem like a smart idea. Like, it could have had longer so that it could sit down somewhere, but it's also too small for it to be worth that. Just because it's just a receiver for my phone, right? So it's like,
and
it's just a weird thing.
Your next thought would be, why not make the cable shorter so that it doesn't even have a cable, it just attaches to something, but then you have to deal with all different form factors on TVs.
Exactly.
I'm surprised it doesn't come with an adhesive. Like a 3M strip kind of idea.
Maybe I just didn't look in the box enough for that. I'll give Google the benefit of the doubt on that one, and just me not reading instructions maybe enough.
That'd be my guess. But it seems like, I mean, that's pretty much all I can say about this Apple TV thing. It's saturation, which is obviously good for competition, so it should lower prices, but bad because it moves stuff around, and so it costs more, and that's why we got away from cable TV in the first place, because nobody wanted to be paying for 6 different things so that they could watch. So nobody wanted to buy 8 different packages so they can watch their 5 TV shows that they watch.
Exactly, and that's why I haven't had cable in probably almost a decade now.
That's why I never got cable when I moved out. Went straight to Netflix because it was it. It's where you got your content from.
And we're a little luckier in Canada because we still have less options. Like in the US, they have at least 3 more options currently. Yeah. And now Apple's getting added onto it. We discussed that. Disney will be coming out with their streaming service later this year, also named Plus. Wow. There's a lot of pluses out there. Yeah.
I don't like it.
Neither do I. I'm like, can nobody come up with something better? Like,
apparently not
at all. Like, Apple's got enough money; they could have just bought Netflix and just been like, "Yep, now it's just Apple presents Netflix" or whatever. But yeah, no, I'm curious to see how the app thing works. If it lets me maybe actually connect to my Chromecast, that's the problem right now. Though,
you're
the
never
TV
gonna
app
get that integration.
Exactly. So that's where I'm like stuck with Apple, because I'm like,
Apple and Google.
Yeah, exactly, and they don't get along.
It's like oil and water over there.
Yeah, and then we throw Amazon into there because I can't cast my Amazon Prime actually to the Google Cast because those two don't get along. And I'm like, okay, guys, can nobody, like, Apple's the only one who's kind of got everyone agreeing, but only if I buy their $150 to $300 Apple TV box, just to transfer all the stuff to that instead. And I'm like, well, I've got the phone already that's supposed to be able to do all these things, but I have to pay more
Yes.
just so you guys let me do. It's just
Yeah.
And
so you can have your integration.
Yeah, and that's where I'm like, okay, screw it. I'll just do my own way around these things. Got a little adapter. I can hook my brother's Mac up to my TV, and then that's how I watch my Amazon Prime.
That'll do it.
Just to get around everybody.
Suck it. Where was I going with that? Well, that kind of brought up I knew about it, but I hadn't remembered it. The YouTube Premium with their crap that they've got going on. I don't really know a whole lot about what their offerings are.
It's interesting you actually brought that up because I hadn't thought about it too much, but considering Apple announced theirs, you think they would have taken a little bit more of a case study from Google, who started Premium about a year ago now, close to it at least.
It's been that long?
I think it's been close to that at least like I would say 8 months. It's been at least 8 months. I know since the summer. I would say maybe closer to a year though, but maybe not. But I do know it's been out for a while, and it has not done quite as well as they hoped.
At all?
And
I don't know anyone who subscribes to it.
I personally don't know either. And from things I've seen based off just because I'm on YouTube a lot, and the fact that they originally had certain premium TV shows that were hidden behind the paywall of the premium subscription.
Yep.
And they have now brought those away from the paywall, and they're just ad supported like every other YouTube video.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, that signals to me as somebody who just only went to, business school for 3 years. I'm not, Apple's been doing this a lot longer, but I would think that they would take notice from Google, who owns YouTube, that it's like, oh, well, they had a little struggle pushing this thing, which every time you open the YouTube app on your phone will show you a thing being like, do you want to subscribe to YouTube Premium? And they haven't gotten enough people yet. And, Apple will have that same kind of reach, but that doesn't necessarily mean people will sign up for these things just to have another thing to pay for. People like YouTube in particular because it's free already, and trying to get people to pay for something that's free already is a struggle, but that's where I think Apple's going to struggle too. So
yeah, I mean, they have the user base, the potential user base, because it's already there, but who's going to subscribe to it is the better question.
Yeah, especially since it's another one. For me personally, I didn't hear anything they announced that got me even a little excited, a little interested. It sounded all like things I would avoid watching that would get added to the things I already like all the subscriptions I already have. I don't watch every single thing on there. There's certain things that I'm just like, I'm not interested in that. And everything that Apple announced, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not interested in any of that. I love Jason Momoa. I don't particularly care for whatever he announced because it didn't catch my attention at all because it's just something. Yep.
So maybe with their... I mean, the biggest problem these companies have is that they're trying to play catch up to Netflix.
Yeah,
Netflix Hulu in the States, and I would argue Crave here.
Well, Crave's a funny one too because how young it is, considering it
has the benefits of being propped up by Bell.
That's what I was gonna say. They had the benefit of like pretty much. I think like half of their subscriber base is just because they give it away to their like cable subscribers.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can't put all that. Like you can't say that's the only reason, because there was Show Me as well, which was the Rogers edition of the
which failed. I had that one
apart.
Yep. No, I had that one, and I was there as it fell apart. I got the refund for them not lasting as long as I had paid for, because they made you pay for like a year's worth, and it wasn't that expensive, but it was part of my phone deal too. But yeah, no, that one did definitely fail. And Crave, I agree, Crave's a decent size, not just because of that, but that they do have that benefit again because they can add it as a package.
Well, they've already got a company that produces content.
Yeah, that too.
Backing up and adding on more content, because Bell owns CTV, and CTV produces some, not a lot, but some original content.
Yeah, and especially here in Canada, because we have certain rules about how much broadcasting Canadian channels have to have as original Canadian stuff. So
correct.
Yeah, and so that's where Crave kind of benefits. It does have a lot of Canadian stuff, and I like that they've gone now with the starting to add the feature of being able to add other channels, like HBO you can add to your Crave subscription, and now they added another one which was Stars as now you can add. So I like that, and I like that direction because it's an option, right? So I still get my streaming service, and I can add on the ones I care about. Yes, it does. It's going to add up eventually.
Sounds like a cable package to me.
But see, yeah, but the thing with the cable one was it's just its base. My problem always with cable was just the base was too high for what you get for just like, the most basic package. And then it's like you have to get, like you said, 5 different packages on top of that just to get the 5 channels you want, other channels you want. And whereas this is a little bit more, you get to pay per channel, which is a little bit more like odd, but for me, it's a little bit more like, okay, well, I'm only going to subscribe to like 2 more channels that they might add, which would be like space and sci-fi if they ever got sci-fi, but that's a US channel, so.
Yeah, probably not then.
But that's also the direction that Apple wants to go too, which is aggregating other channels and being able to subscribe to individual channels via their new app. So I feel like that's the way we're going because, well, cable was successful for a very long time for a reason.
Oh,
It worked.
Originally, it was ad-free because you paid a subscription.
Yeah, that's one thing I've always found fascinating too lately is just like, wait, people complain about, certain, like, I heard a complaint a lot about like Netflix was like showing people extra like trailers and stuff and how certain people were upset about that. And how I was like, but certain people still pay for cable where they're shown, 10 minutes of ads for every 30 minutes of TV they watch. And it's like, you're paying to watch advertisements. Yep. So it's like, you don't get a refund for that. It's a baffling thing, but that's why I like Netflix and Crave because we get the option of I'm paying for this thing, so I get it ad free.
Yep. And
I have the option of adding more things, and I can go to it whenever I want. That's the main thing for me. It's like not having to make appointment television, not having to be like, okay, it's Tuesday, I want to catch my shows, and I have to watch it this second. TV or DVR, I guess, has been an upgrade since I had cable last. That does work, but it's like I'd rather just be like, well, you can just list the shows and I can go watch them. So why would I have to record them as myself? It's a little bit of laziness.
Yeah, they could store it rather than me storing it.
They already have it stored anyways.
So you might as well just offer it up.
Yeah.
But I think that's
the
discussion on extra streaming services. I'm going to call them extra streaming services because they're not ones I'm paying for.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to put it too. Because I'm like, I'm not going to do that one. I'm not doing the YouTube one. There's a couple other like little ones like we've had in Canada pop up a couple like free ones that are just ad supported. So those ones I don't have a problem with because I'm like, okay, whatever. You're just putting your stuff up with ads on it. That's free for people to do whatever they want with. That's optional TV in a sense. And I'm like, cool. I like that that's an option. They don't like, is it CBC Gem?
Yeah, that's
CBS Gem?
That's the old CBC stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So it's nothing I'm particularly interested, but I like that they have that option, particularly here in Canada, like that Canadians, as long as you have like a Wi-Fi connection, you have some form of free streaming service that's ad supported.
That's why we pay taxes.
I'm not against ads. Exactly. Yeah, it's very true. It's one of the reasons, one of the very many reasons. But yeah, I like that we have those options, but I don't, and they also like offer the ad-free option with those ones too. So I like that those little ones are starting to pop up. Mm-hmm. And that's just, again, it's nothing you have to do, but it's there for those who want it.
Correct.
But yeah, I don't think they're all going to last very long.
No, I can see YouTube falling apart real soon. Well,
YouTube's already kind of like given up a little bit on the premium. It's more like they've gone back to it just being like they had YouTube Red before, which was a certain percentage of people who are willing to pay that little extra to get the ad blocker and the extra little features. And I know a certain amount of people pay for the YouTube Premium for just the music features, or from what I've read online at least, just like because you can use it as pretty much just like any other music app via like listening, but without having to leave the screen on once you pay for the premium. But yeah, I definitely see them more going towards just putting their, like anything they continue to make, they'll just put out for free and ad supported and just keep the ad money themselves, because that's all that happens when they post their own stuff.
Lots of ads for their service, so that if you feel like it,
if you like stop watching these ads for their service, you can just subscribe to it.
I'm just scrolling through the CBC Gem thing.
Yeah. Does it have some gems?
It does. A little program called Portlandia?
I have heard of that. Yes, that wasn't.
Got all 5 seasons.
That's not one of the shows I keep up with, to be honest.
Well, it's been gone forever.
Fair enough. Okay, see, that's how far off I'm off with it. I didn't know it was done.
They have Kids in the Hall.
Yeah. Oh,
5
see,
seasons.
I always forget these little things that you guys would probably like more than I care about.
Just for Laughs. Winnipeg Comedy Festival. This hour is 22 minutes. That's just the stand-up and sketch comedy area. They've got. It looks like they've got a handful of.
Yeah, there's some good stuff. They had a good amount of movies too. That's one thing I liked about that, and like the CTV app is they've got some good movies that you can select from.
Yeah, and all of it.
It's just I don't always think to go to these ones. I do have them both actually on my phone. I just don't always remember to go check them because I'm like I barely use the 3 I pay for enough sometimes. Like at the moment I'm going through 10 seasons of DVDs and I'm like, well, what am I doing with my life? I pay for 3 streaming services and I'm rewatching a DVD series because I love Stargate so much, and it's like, okay, it's a weird thing sometimes.
Yeah,
but it's for me, it's always like being able to have the option. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I'm not always in the mood to watch something that's on Netflix, and so I like having the other 2 options. But sometimes there is too many options. Definitely can have too many options. I can't go through 5 apps to decide what I want.
Nope.
I don't have time for that.
That's why things like Crave and Prime get pushed to the back burner. Prime has a better chance because it can be loaded onto my TV, but Crave gets pushed back frequently because they don't have. See, the problem is that on my TV I have a Netflix button on the remote and a Prime button on the remote.
Oh, that's helpful. Yeah,
it's right there. I always go to Netflix, but
I get that.
If I'm looking for something else, Prime's the next simplest thing because all I got to do is push the button.
Press the button. No, that's very convenient. That does help.
Exactly. If Crave was available on my TV, I'd watch it a lot more. But
what kind of TV do you have?
I have an LG smart TV.
Okay, I'm surprised LG wouldn't have Crave.
Me too.
Crave might be just a little behind on updating.
Yeah.
Because they did just switch over. It took them a month to get to the Xbox. That was funny, because I had the new Crave, because they went from Crave TV to now they're Crave, and they switched up the app with that when they added HBO. And my brother couldn't upgrade it on his Xbox One for like a month after because they hadn't finished the Xbox One update of the app. So it's possible that they just haven't gotten to your TV as a TV app, but
it's possible.
But yeah, it definitely helps having that button. For me, it's like I mentioned before, I can't cast. I just use my phone to the Google Chromecast. It gets along with Crave, but doesn't get along with Amazon. So I'm more likely to go to Crave and Netflix than I am Amazon because I have to get the laptop out, hook up cables, and it's like, okay, now I feel bad. I'm taking my brother's laptop, even though he never uses it. But
I would use. I could use my phone too, and just cast it to the TV directly. But
yeah,
I can't be bothered to put it on.
No, I get that too, because you got to set that up sometimes. I don't know how easy it is to cast with your TV. My Google Cast lately has been being stupid. I have a conspiracy theory that is because they released a new one, like a new device.
Yeah.
So I think that they stopped like software updating this one, and it messes around now and it keeps connecting my phone to my brother's Xbox One instead of connecting to the Chromecast. I'm like, why are you doing this, Chromecast? This was never a thing before. You decided that. Why do you want me to hook up to the Microsoft product instead of you? But it's like, it's probably because it's an Apple to Google, and there's Microsoft over there. It's just competing brands everywhere.
Pain in the ass is what it is.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about this alleged leaked Star Wars poster?
Well, you'd sent me it, and my comment, which didn't come out quite right, was it looks like fan art. It looks very much like fan art, or an early concept, like, some marketing guy was like, okay, this is what I want it to be. And he was supposed to send it to the art department, who was then supposed to turn it into a real poster. Because this looks like I slapped it together. I don't have very good Photoshop skills, but I think I could slap this one together, especially from the images in it.
Yeah.
It looks like some stuff that from actual promotional stuff that they released, it looks like they just pasted some stuff together. And I'm not saying it's 100% not legit, but Disney has a track record for having nothing ever leak, like ever, with the exception of being like toy stuff, which is even that stuff's not really leaks. It's just, yeah, toys get released early sometimes. But this leak, like, I've never seen a poster leaked early that like turned out to be the actual thing. So that's why I'm a little hesitant with this, especially when you mentioned that apparently it was posted and then deleted right away. And I'm like, well, that just stinks of somebody saying that, like some Twitter account was like, oh, I screenshotted this. And it's like, well, yeah, I can edit a screenshot too. You know, I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just speculating here. I'm going deep conspiracy. I'm throwing out some rumors because, well, this was only a rumor too. Till Disney, I'm very much till Disney says something, I don't believe it kind of guy. But that's just because
fair enough.
They do have a pretty good track record with that kind of thing, like, you know, keeping a pretty good lid on stuff, and because they're a very powerful company, so it's like,
do you want to
they
work
know better
ever again?
Exactly. So it's like people who are working for them who have the knowledge to be able to leak this stuff know better, because they're like, oh no, they can track me, because it's like I'm not a computer genius, but I know how to keep track of who's got what file, right? Like I know enough how to do that, like, or know how to tell a tech guy to do that, at least I should say. 'Cause I definitely can't do that myself, but I know there's a possibility to put cookies on files so you can track where they are.
Yep.
So I'm like, I find it very hard to believe. Like, leaks do happen, yes, but not usually with Disney. But that's where I stood on it. What did you think of it? I didn't really get your thoughts too much on it.
I just kind of looked at it. That's pretty much it. It seems, like you said, either like it's an initial kind of
concept,
thrown together concept idea. I can't imagine it's the last one. It doesn't have any detail whatsoever on it. It has the logo and that's it.
Yeah, it was missing all the like fine print, which is things that posters actually have for a reason. Like, there's reasons they put that fine print, and it's actually part of certain contracts. Like, you have to put certain stars' names on the movie poster because it's in their contract. So
it's definitely not obviously finished.
Yeah, it's not the one that they're going to be releasing anytime soon, but it is. I could see how it could be the initial concept that then is like still being revised or whatever. Like, you know, like they're like, oh, this is what we want it to look like. We might switch out a couple of these pictures for, you know, ones where we actually got them to shoot for this pose or whatever. Yeah. And they're just waiting to fill it in. So, but
that is what I get out of it. It was deleted could go one of two ways. Either it was intentional from someone else's perspective. I don't really know where it came from, which doesn't help either. So either it was intentional to like drum up some sort of hype because of how well the last Star Wars movie did, or the last Star Wars related film did. So, and not even to mention the last movie in the trilogy that wasn't considered to be the best.
Very controversial movie.
That is what that's the word I was looking for, was controversial.
The very minimum to say.
Yeah. So it could be that, or it could just be, you know, crap. I don't know. See,
I could believe that it was like, I'm not going to say that they don't ever leak stuff unintentionally, like, you know.
It doesn't happen
quote
accidentally
unquote,
where they're like,
exactly,
hey, you need to take that down. Like, this is a fireable offense kind of idea. It's more of like an intentional stunt.
Yeah, I can believe that they do those sometimes, but I would also believe that it led up to something, meaning like, oh, is there an event tomorrow where they're going to release a trailer? That I could see being like, okay, maybe, but at the moment it doesn't seem like we're getting a trailer for it. Like, they've got Captain Marvel in theaters right now, but it's starting to make its tail end down. They've got Dongle coming out this week, so I don't imagine we're getting a Star Wars. Like, I feel like it's Infinity War when we're getting a Star Wars trailer. It'll be after Infinity War or at Infinity War, some kind of thing like that, like one of the premieres, or it'll be like launched to go with the movie. So I think we're still like a month away from seeing a trailer, but it's also possible that this is to build a little hype behind, like, oh, are we going to be getting a trailer soon? It's 9 months out, something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like 8-9 months out. Yeah. So I'm not discounting it completely, but I do have my skepticism about it. That's for sure.
Correct. That is fair. Do we want to touch briefly on what's coming to Netflix in April 2019? I scrolled through this list. Canadian Netflix in April 2019. Yes. I scrolled through.
I took a quick look too.
Nothing jumps out to me, so maybe you've got better answers.
There was a couple things that I'm kind of curious about. One things I had seen a trailer for actually was this anime called Ultraman. The only reason I'm curious about that is it looks like Chinese or Japanese Iron Man, so I'm like, okay, I'm down for that. Like, okay, so I'm curious to check that out. Yeah, I've been more open to animes lately, especially since I watched actually just recently finished watching the Love, Death, Robots one, so I'm curious to check out more. So that I thought you guys would be more interested in the Monty Python stuff getting added, but it was just like a couple little things.
It's a lot of newer.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, so it doesn't really
appeal to you.
Doesn't really jump out to me as much. Like it's the meaning of live, which is the live show. And
okay, so yeah, I didn't even pay attention
like their best
to that.
Bits.
Yeah.
So maybe their best stuff, but that didn't really jump out to me. What did, because now I've made it to the bottom of the list. Anthony Jeselnik has a new comedy special coming out. Fire in the Maternity Ward. He is a dark comedian, and I love him. And so I'm looking forward to that. That'll be at the end of the month. But that's the only thing that really jumped out to me on the list.
Lost you.
Hey, there you are. I can hear you now. You can't hear me at all. I can't hear you.
Yeah, I can't hear you. Can you hear me still though?
No. Well, yes.
No.
Just
okay. Should we stop? I guess we're going to stop.
No, keep going.
Pause. Keep going. Okay, I should keep going. Okay. So I'm going to keep going and keep going on with it. What were we talking about? We're talking about Netflix. Okay, right. Yeah, sorry guys about this. We're having a little technical difficulties. So one of the things I'm excited about that is coming to Netflix though is The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. I really enjoy that show. I know the other guys aren't particularly fond or even care about it remotely, but it's a show that I really enjoy. I like this different take on the Sabrina character, so I'm really interested to check out the second season when that comes out. I've even taken a vacation day to check it out.
A vacation day?
Craig back
just
now,
for
though.
that. Can you hear me?
I still can't hear him.
What?
This is trouble. Why did he suddenly lose his volume? I still can't hear you. Can you hear me, though?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can hear me, but
Yeah.
I can't hear you for some reason.
What the hell?
Okay, should we switch off and you keep rambling and I'll try and sign out and get back in? This is going to be a really fun part of the episode.
I don't really have a whole lot to talk about, unfortunately. Let me just type that to Scott.
Okay, I see him typing something, so I'll have to figure out what that is. I feel like he can definitely hear me. I don't have much to talk about.
I can. I lost my... I closed the link to the page. I was going to talk about...
I closed the link to the page.
This is really
That's fair
exciting
enough.
for the listener.
There wasn't much more that I thought you were going to say either. There's like 2 more shows from me personally as well.
Coming off. Captain America.
Okay, you were gonna talk about what's coming off. Captain America, right?
Yeah.
Which makes sense with the Disney program.
Yep. Clone Wars is pretty
And
much
Clone
the only
Wars.
one.
That one I was a little disappointed about, but I also technically have those on DVD. So
Well, that helps, right? I've never actually seen the show, so it doesn't hurt me at all. But my brother is in the middle of watching it, so that'll hurt him a little bit. Let's move on to WWWTW. You go first.
Okay, so I'll go first with what we're watching this week as we try to, like, me and Craig not talk over each other too much. Okay, so what I watched this week, I didn't watch too much. I've got all my usuals. There was The Flash, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Sabrina, Stargate, American Gods, and Star Trek Discovery. So I guess that is a lot, but that was also like a single episode of all those. But I did go see Shazam. I got to see Shazam early. Luckily me. I'm not going to spoil it, but I really, really enjoyed it. I think it's probably as good as Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse as like a kind of family-friendly, different take on a superhero movie. So I really enjoyed that. I also checked out The Meg this week, which was added to Crave TV. And that was meh. I see why it wasn't as big a hit as some people thought it was before the trailer. But yeah, it turned out really pretty well, and I liked it. It was okay. I wouldn't really necessarily recommend it. So I'm losing Craig right now again. He's going to sign off and come back in. So I'll just keep talking about what I watched this week, which was I also watched a bunch of YouTube. I watch a lot of YouTube every day. I've been watching more Hot Ones, which is the interview show me and Craig have talked about before.
So which episodes of Hot Ones did
Craig,
you watch?
you
still can't hear me. Fuck off. Are you kidding me?
This is great. We've signed in and out a couple times. Craig could, I guess, still hear me, but I can't hear him for whatever reason. Should I try signing out? I've talked about most of what I watched this week.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so I'll sign out. You take it from here, Craig. Talk about what you watched this week.
All right, so this week, and it's going to be so weird doing this by myself. So this week, Sam and I watched the Amy Schumer special, which was interesting, to say the least. I'm not crazy about her, but I think I'm gonna get Scott back in a second. Just bear with me. I'm not crazy about her. She's had some allegations in the past about stealing jokes from other comedians, which I was reading up on today, and I don't really know where I land on that situation. And then I'm just really not crazy about her material necessarily either, because I just feel like I don't connect to half of it, which makes sense because she talks a lot about things that I don't necessarily understand. Welcome back, Scott. You still can't hear me? For fuck's sakes, man. How about now?
What should we try now? I'm still recording.
I have
Can
no
you hear
idea.
me still?
Yeah, so am I. We'll keep recording. It's fine. We're almost through this. Shit.
Oh, now I've got you on both screens. Oh, there we go.
Can you hear me?
I still can't hear you now.
Okay. I
don't know what's happened. It might be that mine needs an update potentially.
Well,
but
it's fine. I'll just keep talking, and we can listen to it later. So I just don't relate to a whole lot of her comedy. So I find that that her it just doesn't resonate with me. I laughed, but not my favorite thing in the world. I also have been watching this that Netflix show Queer Eye. Sure you've not watched it, Scott, because you're not really into that sort of thing. And you can't hear me, so it really doesn't fucking matter. It's pretty enjoyable. I say characters because I still feel like they put on a persona, but I know that they're guys, so they're fairly interesting. I've been plugging away at the new Arrested Development season. That's been pretty entertaining. There was a flashback in the last episode that I watched today, and that was an interesting look. And like Scott said, I've been watching a lot of Hot Ones. This week, I watched both the Eddie Wang episodes, which are crazy, and I wish Scott could friggin' hear me, because then I would talk about what happened on Hot Ones, because it's pretty crazy. What we might do is just edit this back in again after. This is going to be a hell of a week to fix. I watched a Theo Vaughn episode of Hot Ones and Tom Segura as well, and those were pretty entertaining, but that's pretty much it. I'm just going to wrap this up now. That's pretty much all we have to put in this week. Thanks for listening this week, guys. Bye.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Bye.